Hello and welcome to Floristry Market. My name is Greg and this is...
Ella.
And Ella, where are you from?
I'm one half of Willow and Ivy Florist.
And who is the other half?
Tasha.
Here's Tasha, everybody. Tasha's not
Hi.
Tasha's not going to be here. She's going to be back later. Thank you, Tasha, for coming on and saying hello. So, from Willow and Ivy, who's the Willow, who's the Ivy?
I am originally the Willows.
Okay.
And Tasha is, well, she was Ivy Blooms, and now we're together as Willow and Ivy.
That's really nice, really good. Now, welcome to the show. First time on. We're very excited about what you're gonna show here. I want to find out a little bit more about you and your journey in the world of floristry as we go. But to start with, how long have you been doing it?
30 years this year.
Wow.
Straight from school at 16.
Yeah.
Straight into college. So yeah, 30 years.
All right.
Long time.
What made you get into it?
So I was actually, I worked in a fruit and veg shop at the age of 16, and I was just sort of walking along the street one day. I saw that there was an ad in the Florist for a Saturday Girl, and I thought, you know, I'm a bit fed up with stacking potatoes, so I'll have a go at doing something different, and yeah.
Here you are, 30 years later.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, well, we'll find out more about you as we go. Right, what are we going to do today?
So we are going to do quite a simple posy arrangement. This is something that we would quite often do for like a funeral tribute.
Okay.
We've got our Oasis floral foam. I've soaked it. It's important to remember when you soak your foam is to just pop it into the bucket of water and don't push it down so you don't sort of create the air bubbles and get dry sections in the foam. So we've soaked it, and I am going to start off by just trimming the edge of the foam. I do this because you get like a nicer, rounder finish. Yeah. So that's the first thing we're going to do. There we go, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to...
So this doesn't have to be beautifully accurate or
no,
anything.
no,
it's just to give it that shape.
Yeah, I've just trimmed off the edges just to sort of, you know, take that sort of corner away.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start off by greening up the foam with the leather leaf.
Okay.
So I would like that leaf shined.
Leaf shine, do you want me to do it now? Do you do that beforehand then?
I do, yes, but you can do it after. But the thing is, if you do it after, you can't actually spray the eucalyptus. Because it goes, you know, obviously eucalyptus is nicer when it's got that matte look to it. So we do it on.
So you want me to do this now?
Any sort of shiny foliage, yeah.
Is that enough?
That's perfect, thank you very much.
Them all?
Yes, please, yep. So I'm going to just trim down my foliage now into smaller sections.
Sorry guys, I'm messing up the table.
So what I'm doing here is I'm just trimming off the pointy bits of the foliage.
Yep.
Like so.
I love watching florists that have been doing it a while because you're just so fast.
You just do it without thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talking of tributes, what's the most unusual one you've ever done?
A couple of years ago I did the Queen Mary.
The Queen Mary, the ship?
Yeah.
Wow. Was that big then? Or
it was huge. Yeah, it was huge. Yeah, actually it was about sort of that big.
Wow.
I've done a grumpy, you know, from the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah.
I've done
that's a nice tribute.
a ham sandwich.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, some really lovely designs. So as I put the foliage into the foam, I'm actually going to just sort of angle it down slightly.
Yeah.
I'm going to go all the way around the edge. So I've kept it quite, I mean, I haven't fully covered the Oasis just yet, but that's all right because I'll come back to it and fill in my gaps a little bit later.
Okay.
So we've just sort of covered the basic amount of Oasis there. And then the next thing I want to use is the gerbers, please.
Which ones are they?
These ones here.
I thought so.
Yeah. Actually, they're gerb mini, sorry. So the gerbers are the large ones.
Yeah.
These are obviously the smaller variety. Thank you very much. So first of all, I'm just going to put one in the centre.
And you've put wires in those already?
Yes, I have. Yeah, so I'll show you in a bit how to do that. But if it's more important if you're doing something where the gerbers are going to stay long, but it's just to sort of keep them from bending or, you know.
So it just offers extra support.
Yeah, that's it. So we're going to go one in the centre, 5 around the outside. And we were always taught to try and work in odd numbers
Why is that?
Just because it looks...
Is that what it is in nature? I think I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah, and also, I mean, if I was to put 4 around the outside, then it would make the tribute look square.
It would.
Yeah. Okay, next I'm going to use our viburnum, which is the green one, please.
Yes, I know.
Lovely, thank you very much. And I'm just
Are we
gonna
done with
sort
this?
of,
Just go
not
with
at the minute. I'm just going to keep that for 1 minute just to maybe fill in a few gaps, but I'm just going to go sort of in between a few of the gerbras there with the viburnum.
So do you still do weddings?
We do, yeah, not as many, but just a little a trick of the trade here. If you're a little bit short on foliage, you can actually use the foliage from the flower.
Ah, very nice. Waste not, want not.
That's it, yeah, we try and use everything.
So I'm interested in weddings. In what trends have you noticed? Have things changed?
Yeah, so back in the day, everything was, we used to do a lot of peach.
Okay.
And funnily enough, peach is now coming back into
Yeah,
fashion
yeah.
with brides. But there was a time when I really didn't like it because it reminded me of like olden days, you know.
Yeah.
But now it's really fashionable again.
What about the designs that people are having done? Are they different as well to the way they
lot
were
of-
20, 30 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of brides we do find tend to do a lot of their own things now as well. I mean, years ago it was very, you know, a posy on the table centre is what you do a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you'd sort of make 20 posies up for a wedding. But now a lot of brides want to just buy the flower and they'll go and make their own,
Oh, really?
like little jars or...
How do they have time to do that?
I suppose
For the wedding.
they wrote relatives in, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how they have time to do that. There we go. So I've just filled in with a bit of viburnum there.
It's looking lovely already.
Yeah, they're nice colours. I love pastels. I'm going to keep that to one side because I might come back and use a bit more of the foliage.
Okay.
Next, I am going to use the lisianthus, please.
Okay.
So this lilac flower here. Again, the foliage on the lizzie is nice to use. So if you cut the stem sort of quite close to the leaves like that, then you can use the lisianthus foliage.
It just adds variety, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And it also saves a bit of money on the greenery that you're using, because foliage is actually quite expensive.
Yeah. So how do you price something that's quite unusual? So going back to your ham sandwich, for instance.
Yeah.
How do you price a ham sandwich?
It can be tricky. You just have to sort of estimate how many, because we use a flower called a double white chrysanth for something like that. And so you just have to estimate how many you think you're going to use. You then have to take into consideration all the things like the sundries, for instance, like the spray.
Yeah.
Because you do use a lot, you know. I mean, I've been known to use a whole tin on a
Really?
larger tribute.
Wow.
So you do use a lot, and so you have to take into consideration your sprays, your foam.
Yeah.
Because again, you know, foam, you will need like quite a large amount of that if you're doing a large tribute. And the time that you think it might take. I mean, you know, where Tash and I we've done a lot of funeral tributes. We can now estimate.
That's what I was going to ask you next.
Yeah,
Do you sit down and work it all out?
Yeah,
or
it's
not?
it's an estimation a lot of the time as well. You have to really sort of try and figure out, okay, so, you know, recently I did say, for instance, we did a tin of soup.
Yeah.
So that's going to be similar amount of time to, say, the tin of spaghetti.
Yeah.
So you just have to sort of try and think how long something in the previously that you've made, how long that took you. So how long you think something like that would.
But also that
take
comes
to
with
make.
experience. So if you were
Yeah.
brand new to the industry and somebody said, can you do a tin of Campbell's soup, for instance?
It's trial and error, and you know, and sometimes, you know, we have made mistakes about estimating how long something's going to take.
We all have.
And you think, oh, that'll take me, you know, 2 or 3 hours, and in fact, it's taken nearly the whole day.
Yeah.
because you do come against things that you weren't expecting. So it is trial and error, but this is, this is where you learn, don't you? And I truly believe that even after 30 years, there's always room for improvement. You're always learning.
Absolutely.
So
if you were doing, say, 10 of these
Yeah.
at the same time, how do you do it? Do you do each one individually like this, or do you do them all at the same time, sort of batch processing?
Yeah, so you can do a lot of prep work. So, for instance, the day before you can soak all your foam. You can green up, because obviously the greenery lasts a lot longer than flowers.
Yeah.
So you can green up a couple of days in advance, as long as you keep it all well soaked. And then if I had sort of 10 things to do, I would probably get 10 buckets of flowers and then just grab one, make it, grab the next, make it.
So you do the entire thing first?
I probably would,
yeah.
Otherwise you'd be spread out all across the workshop. So,
Yeah.
And unfortunately we don't have the luxury of space for that. One day we'll have a nice big workshop. So I'm just going to sort of come out at the edges a little bit with these nice little buds from the Lisianthus. And again, just cover the oasis with the foliage of the Lisianthus as well.
So you don't have a shop, you have a workshop.
Yep, we do.
How long have you been in there?
So I've been in the workshop about, crikey, it was just before COVID actually. Well, during COVID, I set up my workshop. Well,
Okay.
I set up my little workshop from home.
Yeah.
I outgrew that, moved to the little workshop just down the road where we are now. And then I went through a bit of a difficult time and I needed some help. Tash and I always helped each other out sort of during busy times and that. And I just sort of said to Tash, it made me realise that I couldn't do this on my own anymore. I didn't want to do it on my own. And I just asked Tasha if she would like to join me and work together in the workshop. And that's what we did. It's nice because, I think it's important to have that backup.
Yeah.
When you're working on your own, it's lovely, but it can be difficult at times when, if somebody's not very well or you've got something going on that you need a few days off.
Well, it's good
You've
to
always got
collaborate
that
with somebody, isn't it?
That's it, yeah.
So, particularly when you work on your own.
Yeah.
So you need that backup, because if you do get unwell, you don't want to cancel your orders if you can avoid it.
That's it, yeah. So you've always got the backup of having somebody with you to take over if you need it. So I'm just going to go in now and fill in my little gaps with some of this hydrangea. I'm not going to use it all because I'm going to stop halfway through and then just use a bit of eucalyptus.
So you get quite a lot from one head, don't you?
Yeah, hydrangea's a great filler. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favourite flowers as well, actually. I've got about 4 or 5 of them growing in my garden.
All right.
Love it.
So do you think there's any benefit to having a florist shop these days?
I think with the way of the world, it's becoming more difficult financially. The benefit is you can obviously look up and go home at the end of the day and not think about it.
Yeah.
Having a workshop, especially because my workshop is just down the road from where I live, I do find that I am there. I can't get away from it. It's my own fault. I actually quite enjoy being there.
Yeah.
But it does make you leave at the end of the day, I think. But with having a workshop, you're sort of drawn into staying there a bit longer than you should.
Yeah.
But I do love it. I love it. So, I'm just going to go around now and just fill in any little gaps with the eucalyptus.
It's looking amazing.
You can trim down your eucalyptus as well, and you can get quite a lot out of one single stem.
Yeah. So did you go to college at all, or did you learn it all by doing it?
I did go to college. I went to Sparshot College in Winchester.
Oh, my daughter went there.
I think, I do believe going to college is a good thing for floristry. I think it's great to go and learn the basics, but I also think that once you've done that, it's good to learn, your own style.
Yeah.
I've been lucky to work with so many different people over the years and learn new things. I mean, even Tasha, But she's been doing it, what, 5, 6 years, something like that. And I'm still learning things from her.
Yeah.
Because she's learned the new style of floristry and I'm sort of very old school. So, you know, it's great because we bounce off each other.
Well, you never stop learning. That's
You
what they
never
say,
stop
isn't
learning,
it?
yeah.
You start to learn to drive once you pass your test. That's what they say, isn't it?
Yeah, you never stop learning. You can always learn new skills in this trade. So just filling in my last few gaps now. Okay, I think I'm just about done.
That looks absolutely lovely.
There we go. So that is
Look at that.
finished. Posy. There we go.
That's fantastic. Ella, can I feel the weight of it?
Yeah, please. That's something you've got to be careful with, actually, is overfilling the foam.
Yeah.
If you're doing a large tribute. So, you know, when we've done our bespoke things, sometimes, you know, because you don't, if you've got like a large block of oasis and you've made like we did a milk float or something like that, you don't need the centre of the oasis necessarily to be wet.
Yeah.
So you just need to make sure the sort of the top couple of inches of foam are soaked.
Okay.
Otherwise, it does get too heavy.
It can get heavy.
Yeah.
I've picked up some before, and it's like, wow, you just wouldn't expect it to be that heavy
Yeah,
at all.
as long as the flower stems are touching water, that's the most important thing.
Well, Ella, as a guest, you get to ask everybody a question.
Okay, all right.
So, you can look at the camera.
Okay, it doesn't have to be floristry related.
It can be to do with anything you want, within reason.
What is your favourite sandwich filling?
Oh, nice one. I like that. What's your favourite sandwich filling? I see what you did there, ham sandwich, that was very good. But what's your favourite sandwich filling?
This is a bit of a weird one. I like cucumber and Marmite.
That's not that weird.
Yeah.
I've had that before. That's nice. I don't know what mine would be. I do like tuna.
Tuna.
Just a good old tuna.
Good old tuna sandwich.
Yeah. Anyway, Ella, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you've enjoyed the content, give us a subscribe and hit that little bell icon. You'll be notified every time we upload a new show. Check us out on Facebook, check us out on Instagram, check us out on TikTok where the fun stuff happens. And if you really want to, you can check out Ella as well. Anyway, thank you again.
Thank you.
See you next time.